Have you ever wondered what games you should keep or you should lose? Find out here at Purge Reviews.
Samurai is an abstract game put out with Renier Knizia. This is back when Renier Knizia was the king of board games, and still is to some extent, right? He's got some of the most, he's probably designed more games than anybody that at least I've ever heard of. And a lot of those are really good. Not all of them, of course, but a lot of them are really, really good. And Samurai is one of those that are really well regarded. Now, I didn't grow up with Samurai. It's not a game that really had an impact on me. It was just another abstract game that I played. I did a written review of this. I got a lot of flack for not liking this game very much, and it's okay. It's fine. The components are just wooden things, and it's okay. Very abstract, where you're just trying to surround certain areas, and you score points for doing so. It's fine. I found a little mathy trying to, I don't want to spin this guy here. He's worth this, and surrounding it up and going through. It's one of those games that are really, really good. If you like abstract games, it's really good. And I could see anybody liking this. The problem with this game was, it's not something that made me pull it off the shelf. There was nothing there that was like, man, I really want to get to a game with Samurai today. I like a little bit more theme. And granted, this theme is not one that I enjoy very much. I don't really like the abstract nature of it. I just needed a little bit more going on. And some of these simple games that are simple to play, like the actions on your turn, but had this really deep strategy, probably don't appeal to me as much as at once I thought they would. Samurai was a game 18 years ago I would have really, really liked and thought, wow, this is very, very novel. But today, with the amount of games I had to choose from, it just didn't last for me. And it just sat on my shelf collecting dust over and over. A whole nother version of it came out from Fantasy Flight Games, came and went, and I still didn't pull it from my shelf. So at some point, I got to be realistic with myself. Very strong game. Very well liked by a lot of people. One I can even recommend to you. But not necessarily one that I felt like I needed to keep that was going to get played on the table. So for me, it's a Purge. But this is a very strong, and this is a classic game that most people, if you've never played it, you really should do yourself a favor and check this one out. So this is Samurai by Renier Knizia. This is the Rio Grande's game version. There is a Fantasy Flight remake. You're going to have a rule book, which we'll take a look at in a few minutes. They're going to have these screens. These screens are pretty good. You can see they, didn't put a lot of effort into this, but black and white on this side. But they stand up fairly well. You're going to have these maps. You're going to use different maps depending on how many players you're going to have. They're all one-sided. And they kind of fit together here like a little puzzle, as you can see. And these are pretty durable, not too bad. You can tell right away that the box is way too big. It's just so tall. You're going to have these figures that will be out for some reason. They're all the same color. They're black. They're shiny. They're really nice components, but I don't know why they chose all the same color. Maybe it was a cost-saving method. Everybody will also get a set of tokens, and everybody's going to be very much the same, except for the color on it will be a little different. You're going to have a few of these that might have the C's, but no matter what color you're being in the game, you're going to have the same tokens that you'll be utilizing. It's all about how you use them. These are thick and nice and different colors, and they're fine. And you can see that the insert, is nothing special. So the rulebook's going to come in a few different languages here, and you just kind of open up to yours, and that can be your new front page. You can see it's printed in full color with pictures of the components and exactly how everything works. Now this rulebook's a little bit different. That's going to jump in and kind of show you how the different things work in the game and how the tokens work. And then over here, it's going to start setup and how to play the game. It's very simple. So by the time I got to this section, I kind of understood how the game would work. Then you're going to see the game end, and scoring. Scoring can be a little wonky in this one, then another language over here. So very good. Not very many rules. Maybe 3 pages total of rules. Probably because I didn't read this in 10-15 minutes and be up and running. So first thing you do is put the map together based on the number of players. There are additional maps that you will jump into it, but I'm going to use just a 2-player here because it fits pretty good on the camera. Then each player will grab a screen. They will shuffle up their tiles behind them and draw 5 of them that they will put behind their screen, and that'll be kind of their starting hand when they're ready to play the game. Now, based on the number of players, in this case, we'll take 7 of each type. We're going to place 1 of each in the capital of Edo. We're going to put 2 in each of these areas, just randomly here. You can see there's a building for each one, and then 1 in each location else. Then once you have everything out, you're set up and ready to go. Now each player is going to have a couple different tiles. So you're going to have 5 of these tiles that have a Japanese representation on them, and then the rest of the 15 that do not. You can play as many of these on a turn with a Japanese representation as you want, but only one of these without it a turn. So these will be special ones that you'll be holding off and playing, possibly to make a big move, and these will be every turn. In addition, you're going to have these ship spots, and these can only be placed on water. You can see that it would match up pretty easily, and that's fairly easy to remember. So on your turn, you can take one of your here, and you can place it here. And what that's going to do is going to give me a 7 influence to each one of these figures that are next to it. And what you're trying to do is collect as many of these figures as you can. Once it is completely surrounded, as you can see here on the land, you will add up the influence. Green has 7, and blue has 4 plus 2 is 6. So even though this has more tiles, blue has more tiles, green is going to win this and take it and put it behind their screen. Keep in mind, the water does not have to be filled, just the land spaces connecting to it. Then after you take your turn, you draw back up to make sure you have 5 of these tiles behind your screen, and then the next player would go. At the end of the game, everybody will reveal what they were able to capture during the game. Now, if you capture the majority of 2 different things, like say these 2, you immediately win the game. Otherwise, what you would do is, if you did not capture the majority of any single one of these figures, then you could not win the game. So whoever's left out of that, you would add up. Let's say I had the most of this. I would not count this. I would take the other items. Let's say these are my total. And I got 2. And that's how many. So you score whatever you don't have the majority in. Whoever has the most is your winner. Who should buy this game? Anyone who likes the classic board gaming. I feel like Samurai is a classic board game already. It's one of those like grandfatherly games. I know in the modern era, if you'll give me that. It is a very well-designed game. It's very well-balanced. It works very well. And the components are good enough. And it has a well-known designer. You know, it's almost like watching a Martin Scorsese game or movie where it's like, you know you're going to get something of quality. You know you're going to get something good. And a lot of people like it. It may not be your favorite. It may not be one that you want to go to for your comfort movie. Or in this case, a game. But it's very, very good. It just didn't appeal to me as much. And I think that's okay too. So, who should buy it? You want classic games, you don't mind something a little abstract, a little bit of math and how you're putting things around, and that kind of mind thing where it's like, the turn is very easy, but the strategy is deeper, and that's what you're going to get here. Purge for me, but I think a lot of people would like this one, and I'm still going to recommend it.